1969, Hobart, Tasmania. A beautiful woman disappears. 42 years later, in December 2011, a man meets a retired journalist and tells his story. He says he wants to purge himself. Is this the truth?
Sandy soil, I dug the grave, the body was disposed of, certain threats were made to me, and a person to be scared of. He was a violent person.
Names the alleged murderer, claiming that he too is now dead.
That is what led to the burial of Lucille Butterworth.
Lucille was, as claimed, at a Claremont bus stop, but was she waiting for a bus?
He recommended me to go to Claremont. He picked up a girl at the bus stop at Claremont.
Take me out to Claremont. Right, stop here. To me it sounds as if it was prearranged.
Lucille and the other man are together in the back seat. They are driven to a nearby cemetery. She is dead within the hour.
I was told to go for a walk. By this time it was rapidly approaching darkness. Half hour later, and I went back to the car. He said, "Come on, quick, get in." Now I got in the car, and assuming that this girl, who I now know to be Lucille Butterworth, was in the back seat with a blanket over her. I think it may have been tartan, to my knowledge at the moment. I was not aware that this person was deceased at the time. I drove to Kingston under instruction to an area which I also knew fairly well, and this is where I become aware that
17 years later, in 1986, the mystery should have come to an end. The man who allegedly buried Lucille Butterworth is in a Western Australian prison. He is delivered into the hands of Tasmania police. He is returned to Tasmania, and he takes police to the gravesite at Kingston. But they cannot find the body.
I was disappointed in the way they carried out the digging and exploration, because they just totally ignored me where I was indicating the spot was, and just dug everywhere else but. And I know that Stan Hansovich at the time pointed this out. He was totally ignored, and so they just went on their merry way with no result.
Did they seem enthusiastic when you first informed them?
Yes, they did.
What made that enthusiasm wane?
I think that occurred during or after the digging. The place I indicated, one of the places, there was then a block of units, and I said it to be closer to them, or possibly shops that were very close by. And as far as the units, they said, we can't go kicking people out of units to dig up concrete slabs, and they just seemed to want to bail out.
Having heard these revelations, do you think that...
I think she's still there where I indicated to Inspector Prestige.
Now, you're a metal detector man?
Yes.
You have made many trips looking for the big reefs and the big nuggets, yes, and found small ones.
That's it.
Do you think if there's anything metal on this girl, and if she's still there in that shallow grave, or how deep was it?
Look, I'd say about 4 feet.
Right, so there's no reason why probably it should not be there?
Yes.
You think your metal detector could find it? You've got a high quality detector. How deep did they go, Stan?
Well, in my opinion, if she was wearing bobby pins or anything metal on her that may have oxidised, that small piece of metal would now be very large, and it would be quite easy for a detector to pick that up.
The former police ballistics officer arranged a meeting with the journalist and the man who wanted to clear his conscience.
Has this played a major role in your life, in your thinking processes since it happened?
I've changed my whole life since I was brought back to Tasmania in regards to it. I was a chronic drinker. I love my drink. I no longer drink alcohol, haven't for 22 years. My whole personal demeanour, I was a violent person. That doesn't exist now. I've taken a back seat in life. I don't drink, no violence in me. I'm very understanding and tolerant of people, which I wasn't for many years. I've changed my whole demeanour because I've left that type of thing behind, and I wish this would go away, from my conscience anyway. And the only way to do it is like expunge myself.
Yep.
Get it out and hope that her body is found, and anything I can say or do for that to happen, I'll do.
This YouTube presentation was posted in the public interest on the day 43 years ago, on August 25, 1969, that Lucille Butterworth went missing. In 1986, when her parents were still alive, the man in this video confessed to burying her. Do you think her parents, her family, her friends, and the Tasmanian public should have been told? In the meanwhile, Lucille still calls from her lonely grave, "Find me." The mother and the father, then alive, with every moment waking and recurring haunted dreams where a darling daughter's importuning rival all collective screams of persons missing, lost and calling, "Find me, find me, find me." Well, at last, I think we have Lucille.
If I could lift you off from here, I'd take you on my back and I'd bear your loads. Like a bolt of lightning hammering through clouds, emancipated through explosion. I could heal your child, I could meet his eyes, I could rest your troubled mind.